Hello ladies and gentlemen, we're back once again with the Renegade Master, your dreadlock caster RedRipz, right here today on CasualCraft. Now, today's episode, we're at number 23 now, I do believe. We're back on Star Station again for another TVP game. Now, this is Diamond Master League sort of level. I'm not too sure which levels they're in now, because I think it's a couple of weeks old, this game, but it was Diamond Master was what I was told initially when I received this replay. So we'll be having a little look at this now. And up here in the top right hand corner of the map we have our red Protoss player, today's hero. He's going to be TenchiSaWaDa. TenchiSaWaDa. I'll call him Tenchi for short. It's good. And you know, he's looking very nice there up in the red. And in the bottom left hand corner of the map we have Castiel, the blue Terran player. And I think I may have said Tenchi was Terran as well, but he's actually Protoss, obviously, as you can probably see on the screen in front of you. So yeah, no, it's another TVP game here on Star Station today in CasualCraft, and I'll be honest, I've been having quite a lot of fun messing around trying to get the settings right for these things, and I think I've just about got it right now. It's looking pretty good up on YouTube, looking at the last couple of videos, although I actually find myself completely forgetting to upload them to Reddit, so bugger, basically. I'm going to have to do that. Start doing that again now to actually get some sudden views on them. Not that I'm overly bothered about the views, but it's kind of nice when you get a little bit of feedback here and there, you know, it's all good. Now, meanwhile, we're seeing Tenchi have a little look down into Castiel's base here. He's moved his probe down to come have a little scout. He's not going to see anything too much yet. The basic sort of start off with your barracks and your single refinery, nothing too cheesy. He knows the barracks there, so it's not going to be anything proxy or anything weird like that. Meanwhile, Tenchi behind that's getting his gateway first, so yeah, all very safe stuff. Nice normal plays here out of both players. I wouldn't expect anything too out of this world initially for the first sort of 5 minutes, not from what we've got out here already for both players. Now, with Tenchi heading back up towards the other end of the map, and just out of interest, this is a cross positions only map, so it's interesting that Castiel's actually chosen to go to the bottom corner there, although I'm someone who sits and talks about StarCraft, and it's something I didn't know until more recently, so yeah, not as widely acknowledged as it, not as widely sort of acknowledged as it should be that this is a cross position only map on ladder at the moment, but yeah, celery. So it's all good. Now, look at Tenchi up in the top right here again. He's getting down his cybernetics core. He's going to be quite average in every single way. We've seen a Reaper coming out of Castiel here as well. This is going to be doing some scouting, having a look around. I wouldn't imagine we'll be seeing too much pressure out of that. You don't tend to see quite as much in the way of Reaper pressure, just because it's quite easily defended. They're pretty weak sort of health, and like unless you rush a couple out with proxies or something, they're not really as effective as they were initially when they became usable again with the Heart of the Swarm beta. Now, if we just have a little look around here, it does look like we've got a probe coming down here for Tenchi, so I think he'll be getting, yep, there's an expansion coming down. That's lovely here for him. So he's going to be going for a nice second base there, just slightly behind Castiel's second base in his natural here now, which is actually putting down on the low ground, so he's pretty brave about that, but he will be seeing Tenchi's base before too long, and it shouldn't really be any real problem for him to see what's happening there and realise that there's not actually that much going on at the moment. We're not even chrono boosting out Warp Gate at the moment, so we're not going to be seeing any particularly early pressure here out of Tenchi as Castiel's Reaper does have a nice little look around his base there. So with that in mind, we'll go back to Castiel's base and have a little look down here. He's got his reactor out now, so we'll be double pumping stuff out there. Yeah, Marines, all very good. We've got the bunker down at the front, we've got the command centre coming down, we've got orbital command up and running with a single gas still. Yeah, very, very sexy play. So, yeah, well, you're pleased to know I'm feeling considerably better than I was last week. It's been a slow recovery from the pits of just illness, basically. I was really, really unwell last week, and I was going to be playing a show with my band on the Saturday night and basically couldn't do it because I was so unwell. I got as far as sitting on stage and then going, shit, no, I can't even do this. Like, I could barely sit up straight. It was pretty horrible, frankly, but you know, it's one of those things, I guess. So I'm feeling a lot better now anyway, and all looking good, a bit chirpier and that. I'm still eating ibuprofen and like paracetamol and stuff pretty much 24/7 just to keep the headache and the sickness away, but it seems to be working pretty well. I'm not too dizzy right here now. We've got a proxy pylon out of Tenchi there as this little force pushes out across the map just to see what's going on. We'll be taking out these Reapers as well, denying vision for Castiel there, and we should be seeing a little bit of pressure here out of Tenchi, although I don't think it's going to go too far, as we've got a bunker down, we've got a couple of Marines at the front. I don't think there's going to be that much that Tenchi's going to be able to take advantage of here in this sense, as Castiel is continuing to pump out his Marines, all looking very pretty. Now, the top right of the map again, Tenchi's got down his 3 warp gates here. He's got Cybernetic core down now, so we'll be seeing, I'd hope, some more tech out of him before too long. Either that or he'll be going into more warp gates and looking for a more all-in sort of build, but we'll wait and see what happens. He's still probing up at the moment. He's chrono boosting out the probes, so he's not using too much now, as he does actually at the same time just take out a supply depot on the front of Castiel's base there, which is very nice. The high ground vision afforded by the militia core is really infuriating to deal with for well, for everybody basically, because they can just sit it there and just shoot up onto your high ground, which is a real pain in the arse, especially when using reactors. I'm not actually seeing any sort of reaction here out of Castiel. I expected perhaps if we pulled the Marines out the front of this thing and just poke around a bit, but be ready to move them back in if the force moved down or anything like that. Or I'm not sure, like, or even I'm not quite sure what he was hoping really, but he's going to weather that and then eventually pull away the barracks, and also behind that we've got an extra orbital command out now. So I think we'll be having a 3-base Terran play here from Castiel. He's got his second bunker in here as well now, more Marines coming out, we've got the factory down with the first Widow mines coming out, and with this many barracks out, 3 plus a starport, and I imagine we'll be seeing bio play here as usual. I mean, the thing is you can get mech play against Protoss, but it's just not that common really. Like, I don't really see anything like as much mech play as I do bio play in any of the matchups actually, to be honest, thinking about it. So with that in mind, we'll have to wait and see what he does here, but it generally sort of build your factory, stick a reactor down and just pump Widow mines out to support the rest of your M titled force with the Marine Marauders and Medivacs. So yeah, it's all very good. Getting the first of the upgrades out now for Tenchi as well, and his base up here. He's got his Twilight Council down as well now, seeing more tech. I think there's more gateways coming out as well. So he's going to be gearing up for some sort of more reactive assault, I think, where he should be getting an army together now that he's getting this many gateways down. And we should be starting to see some big plays out of the Protoss player Tenchi up here in the top right hand corner of the map now. We're seeing the plates fall here, it's all very good. And yeah, well, that's quite pretty. So just having a look around, not too much going on. We've still got map control effectively for Tenchi, since he's the only one who's actually got anything out on map at all. But with that in mind, I think Castiel should be able to move out before too long to push down into this 3rd base. He just needs to get a few more men together, a couple of medivacs out behind it, and if you can just sort of patrol up and down this area here, then a 3rd base there is more than possible for this player now. As he's at the moment, he's just basically using this command center just to build the extra SCVs that he's going to need to fully saturate that base as soon as it lands, which is what you want really. You don't really want it sitting there and gradually building SCVs up really, if you can avoid it. It's quite a risky position on this map. I mean, a Protoss can literally just walk straight up to it. There's absolutely no way of defending that unless you've got an army sat here or something. So with that in mind, now we're seeing Castiel move out. We're also seeing storms coming out of Tenchi, so it looks like he's going the typical sort of anti-bio composition where you get basically as much like assorted kind of AoE damage as possible. We're not seeing anything too much more in the way of like Colossi and things yet. We're getting the ground armor out and the charge upgrades as well, so I think we'll be seeing a lot of Zealot play here out of this player, with High Templars behind that, and then probably some sort of looks like we're just getting a lot of gateway units out really. I mean, we've got the Templar Archives down obviously now as well, and we're getting the second forge, so we're going to be seeing a lot of upgrades down, but it looks like we're seeing a Zealot heavy army with Stalkers and I imagine some sentries thrown in as well. There we are. And then obviously the High Templars for the massive AoE damage that they provide so nicely. So with that in mind, both players still looking at similar supplies. We've got Ghost Academy coming down at the back here from Castiel, so we should be seeing some ghosts out soon. This will be ready to EMP away the Protoss armor, and obviously the High Templars are going to really suffer to stuff like that. So with that in mind, we're dropping Marines all over the base of Tenchi here now as Tenchi's army comes back, but with a huge storm on top of both those medivacs. Both of those will be getting cleared up, and the rest of this force should be falling pretty quickly before he takes out too many more workers. You know, if we just watch this thing there, yeah, we're losing a few workers here and there, but nothing too much there. Just 2 workers down there for Tenchi as Castiel is forced to well, I say he's forced to remove himself, as he's forced to die in the base there. Now we're going to see a bunch of Zealots wandering across the map here for Tenchi. They're going to be taking on this completely undefended 3rd base of Castiel, as there isn't actually any particular army here. I mean, there's a little thing at the bottom here, but with only 2 medivacs out now, he's going to take some damage there before he can react to it. And while the Zealots will be getting cleared up, they have cost mining time. I think that, yeah, we've got the missile tower down as well, and I think they might have got some SCVs killed. Yeah, 2 as well. So with 2 workers each here, both sides looking pretty even in terms of spending and stuff. We've also got relatively similar upgrades on with 1-1 here for both players there now. We should be seeing them moving beyond that before too long. We've also got the 3rd base coming down now for Tenchi as well. But the top right hand corner of the map is this little Zealot army gathers at the front. We've also got the Archons in behind this, so Yeah, all good stuff. Just keep building those high Templars, get your Archons out. These Guardian shields are perfect against the massive shootiness of a Terran army as well. So with that in mind, we're going to be seeing the third base of Castiel completely cleared out here as he's forced to withdraw back to his main. Now we're also seeing concussive shells coming out of Castiel here, so I'd imagine we'll see a lot more Marauders out, which is obviously exactly what you want against the Zealots here, as obviously the concussive shells really put a spanner in the works for the Zealots. If you can keep kiting back once they've used up their charge move, it's quite a good thing. We're seeing quite a lot of buildings fall here for Castiel, which is unfortunate, but huge storm on just 3 units there as well. That's quite a waste, to be honest. I think he might be better saving off his energy there with the high Templar. Is he going to fall? Not quite, no. And actually that Marauder does look like he'll survive behind all that, so that's all very nice. Now, seeing the Mobius reactors coming out here as well now, so this is obviously for the increased starting energy of the Ghost there for Castiel, so I imagine we will be seeing the mass sort of Ghosts to deal with the shielded Protoss army here, especially against Archons. The EMPs are so good, because once that shield falls, 10 health. Absolutely nothing to worry about. You can pretty much take it out with a couple of Marines at that point. We're seeing double Robo coming out of Tenchi though, so I'd imagine we'll be seeing loads of Colossi. Exactly what you need against Bio as ever. Just with the huge AoE, so we should be seeing those. And then where is the Robotics Bay? That should be coming down any second now as well, if we're going to be seeing Colossi. If not, then I'd imagine we'll be seeing, getting double Observers out right now, so that's all very tasty. So we're getting more ground armor upgrades. Everyone's going for 2-2 now, all looking very tasty with both players back on 3 bases. We haven't got a full third mining base here for Castiel, as I think he did lose Yeah, he lost another 10 workers in that previous engagement there, so that wasn't so good for him. So he's a little bit behind in that sense, and also the fact that Terran does really struggle to replace its workers, relying heavily on mules to keep up with the economy at this stage. So I'd almost quite like to see another orbital command down. Really, he's floating quite a lot of minerals. So if he stuck another orbital command down, he could probably be getting out loads and loads of these mules again, just to really bolster his economy and start. He could even stop building SCVs almost if he was to get that many out at this stage of the game. I guess it would allow him to spend more money on his army and stuff as well, and keep building it up and making sure he stays ahead. I mean, he's not going to get ahead by doing that, but he makes sure he stays on top of things instead of just dying. So with that, man, we're seeing the Robotics Bay coming down now of Tenchi. He's going to be getting Colossi out before too long as well. And that will be really useful, frankly, with this huge army of Zealots that he's got here to tank all the damage, and just a few high Templars and Archons behind that dealing the AoE. The Colossi are going to be really needed to deal with this force of Castiel's here, which is going to come and sit outside the base of Tenchi. He's got vision of the high ground with the Zelnaga Tower, obviously, but that's pretty much it. We're seeing a drop here at the top base of Castiel. I did not see this coming in at all. It's very nice. We're seeing all the probes fall here as more and more go down. He's almost catching up with the number of workers killed as well there. If we just had a quick look at the tab there, he was down to 10. We've got to go up to 11 workers killed there. That's very nice. And as the drops pulled out there, there's really no response from Tenchi other than to pull away his own probes. I think there's a few Zealots there that were killed pretty quickly, but with this one Marine left chasing this high Templar on the base, we're going to have quite a funny time here for this. Oh, and there we go. He's dying now, and that was well played, Mr. Marine, to be honest, for surviving so long and managing to kill off that high Templar, because they're bloody expensive units. So it's always good to get rid of. Now, meanwhile, Castiel is going to be getting his stuff together outside this base. We've still got a drop waiting out here at the back that could very easily come in again at any time whatsoever. So we're going to need to see some sort of response there from Tenchi if he wishes to stay in the game without being dropped to death. Now, that in mind, we're seeing a nice big storm there on his own Zealot, which is unfortunate, although we're getting a much bigger storm than a bunch of Marines who actually ended up dying there, unfortunately, due to the sheer amount of damage. And with so many of them on just such little health, we're going to be seeing a lot of this Medivac energy disappear now as the massive forces of Tenchi are going to be starting moving out across the map. We're splitting up Zealots all over the place. We're seeing Zealots come around the bottom, we're seeing them come around the top. These Zealots are actually going to cut off the army here, which will stop it, and we should see some sort of engagement right in the middle here. It's unfortunate that not everything came together at once, really, but it just means that the army of Tenchi is a little bit spread out, and he's going to be seeing less effective plays than he might have hoped for, really. So with that in mind, we're getting 3 3s out, and with that in mind, we're going to stop saying with that in mind, because I've said it way too much today. Let's see if we're going to get any more drops here out of Castiel, as the Medivacs still sat outside the back of Tenchi's base there. That's pretty dangerous for Tenchi if he's because he doesn't really have anything there to respond to it. Single stalkers and stuff aren't really enough to deal with that. Although actually with a few Zealots sitting up on this mineral line here, it shouldn't be too bad now. So with Tenchi moving across the bottom of the map again, he's got a whole bunch of Zealots there. We might be seeing a fourth base out of one of these players soon, I would hope. Yeah, there we go. At the top coming down now, for Tenchi there. That's quite a difficult one to defend, but I'm not sure whether this one's better than the other one on the far side, really. They're both in pretty similar positions with that, for that sort of thing. So, I'm not really sure which one's the best one to take there, but it's the one at the top here seems to be the popular one. I think it is a little bit shorter to get to defend, perhaps, or at least it's easy to get to, maybe, or... No, so you don't have the low ground disadvantage there, because on this one, obviously, you can't You can be shot from the high ground, but it's a bloody long way away. You need some big units to do that. Whereas in the other base on the far right, of course, the tower here is directly behind the mineral line. All you do is move some units in around the back up here and attack away. Now we're seeing a little bit of pressure here in Castiel's third base there as his army moves across to deal with these few zealots. So I'm a little bit annoyed really that the SCVs chose to engage there. Really, he should have pulled them away and pulled some of his army back just to deal with that. But I have a feeling that if he'd done that, Tenchi might well have engaged, so it wouldn't have been so good. But I mean, to be honest, they've got a pretty similar number of units. If we just have a quick look in the units tab there at the top, we're seeing, yeah, it's pretty much all zealots here with the odd random unit thrown in with a couple of colossi on top, and then we're seeing mass marauder with a few marines for Castiel there. So it's to be honest, they're pretty even at this stage. I mean, I really like the fact that Tenchi's got the extra AoE out. It's always good against bio. There's just, I mean, look at this. That's just designed to be AoE to death there. So yeah, I'd imagine we'll be seeing some something like that. Then as we're seeing another drop coming in Castiel's base here at the top now with the two medivacs coming once again. We're seeing lots and lots of probes dying here now as we're up to 33 workers killed for Tenchi, but well, actually it's 18 for Castiel. So yeah, so Tenchi is still ahead due to the little assault on the third there before, but Castiel is making up ground. He's doing his best. He's dropping in all the bases, and it looks like he might. Is he going to lose a medivac here? No, he won't. I don't think by the look of it. The medivac's not being targeted down there as the cannon will actually be falling from the marauders now. And with this marauder in the back there that we can't. Can we even get to that? No, I don't. I actually don't think. I think he's actually with the gateway in place there. We've dropped that, and actually we're seeing a huge engagement here on the middle of that. Also managed to miss us there. Tenchi's army is just going to completely fall there. All the colossi die, and there's just not much left there now for Tenchi. Really, his army's just falling. Although with the storms on top of this bio here, that's not very good for the bio. And to be honest, another good storm that can see most of this fall if we can get that in there. We're going to see that. Yes, we are. The first two medivacs falling there. Nearly a third one. We're seeing lots and lots. No, yeah, it does look like Castiel will be able to fight this off once again as he's still got troops in this extra base here at the second base of Tenchi there. And absolutely none of these zealots are doing anything about it. We're not seeing any stalkers being warped in or anything to try and deal with this. It's just pure death there for Tenchi's natural now as his zealots will be coming in and should be clearing up most of this bio here now for the last bit of Castiel's force there in the bottom there now. So we're having to regroup, get fresh armies together as both players have very little left at this stage. Although I do feel like Tenchi is a little bit behind. However, if we just have a look at the units tab, yeah, he's behind on probes, but not by too many. If we just have a look, we're about pretty much even on that. They've built similar numbers as well during the game. And yeah, we're going to see this medivac fall as well now, which is good news for Tenchi. So and that in mind, he needs to get caught up on his army size. We'll just take a quick look at the armies here. We've only got 16 zealots, a couple of Stalkers, and a couple of High Templars here for Tenchi, whereas Castiel has many more Marauders, and he's also getting the Ghosts and Marines out now as well. So that's going to be looking pretty dangerous here for Tenchi this game, I think, as Castiel is completely ahead now, despite not having the fourth base down. He did so much damage there in this second base that, and obviously the continued dropping up there has been a real problem for Tenchi. So he's only really on one proper mining base now, with the second populating as we speak. So yeah, so that's two full mining bases now for Tenchi there. As once again, Castiel's moving out across the map. We're going to be scanning down the observers that he's spotted. I think we're only on one mining base actually for Castiel now. So he's going to fall on his face in a minute if he's not careful. He's got a lot of gas saved up, but he doesn't really have the minerals to spend it with. So we're going to have to probably wait and see what happens with him here, because the thing is with bio, you're always going to have spare gas, but like this much spare gas, that's quite a lot. He really needs more bases. Another command centre down somewhere would be nice if he just could move out, perhaps move to the bottom of the map here or something, as his army is just going to push up and clear this out now. And it's something that if Castiel really needs to stay ahead on the momentum here, he's got quite a lot of forces. He's miles ahead at the moment in terms of army size and things, and if he can just keep on top of what Tenchi's doing, if you take this base out and all this kind of thing, he should be fine. But I do feel he should be macroing up a little bit behind this if he can, as he's really going to start struggling for resources before too long with only one proper mining base now. And there's some really nice splits going down there from Castiel here. We're seeing storms, we're seeing all sorts on top of him, but he's trying to move around them, although it does look like that these Archons will be clearing the last of these forces, as there still isn't really the ghost count there to get the EMPs down that Castiel really needs to take out these troops of Tenchi here now. So another individual zealot at the bottom here. I think he'll just be wandering down, have a little look at this base, make sure there's no expansions there. We'll probably see Tenchi checking the other bases around the edge here, and then pretty swiftly realising that he's actually getting ahead now because he's got so much of an economic advantage, or at least he will. Well, sorry, he did until that fourth base fell. So yeah, so he does need to get his fourth base down again. I mean, there is still a mineral line here, sort of. You know, a few hundred minerals to be had out of that, but both players really do need other bases at this point, as they're really going to be struggling for resources with with late game armies coming out and everything being so expensive, it's going to be a real issue for them. So yeah, if we just have a look at the bottom here, yeah, we're seeing the extra base coming down from Castiel now. This is good to see from this player. As he has a little wander around, checks out the other bases, makes sure there's nothing dangerous hanging about. We are going to see this picked up on straight away from Tenchi though, as he's going to be coming around and taking the Selnarka watchtower now. If we just have a quick look at the production tower, we're not seeing anything being built for Tenchi at the moment, so I'm not sure quite what he's doing. I think he might be just... Yeah, I think he's just saving up for the additional base at this point. Is pretty much his crack, so we should be seeing that go down before too long. Meanwhile, his army's going to be moving out again. Looks like he's going to try and engage this extra base of Castiel here, and this is the sort of play that'll keep him in the game. If he can stop Castiel from getting these extra bases up, then Castiel's not going to have the resources to spend his huge amount of gas that he's got built up. Which will really put him at a disadvantage because he just basically won't be able to get the units out for the amount of stuff that he's mined, which is a real shame. A little bit of zealot pressure once again in this third base as it's really starting to mine out now, which pulls the army nicely away for Castiel and allows Tenchi to move straight in at the top of this base. That was a really nice little play there, just pulling the army away with a single zealot for Tenchi there. That was really good. And as the command center catches fire now, it looks like we might be seeing this fall here unless we can get a repair on before too long. And as the engagement comes in, huge storms here for Tenchi right on top of Castiel's army, and Castiel's unable to split away from it. And despite that, it does look like most of Tenchi's army will be falling, but those storms were absolutely huge. So many units went down there, and it's quite lucky for Castiel in that respect that he was already ahead on army size, because otherwise he would have lost the game straight away there with losing that army. If that was it, that would be a real issue, as the actual number of the amount of resources he was struggling with there was a real issue. Now we're getting a little bit of banter out of both players here. It's nice to see the nice friendly play, nothing too horrible really for both of them. We're getting ghosts out now as well for our blue Terran in the bottom left here. He's trying to get his EMPs down. It's all very nice. So we just keep watching this. We're seeing the Viking counts really starting to get up here for Castiel, which is going to put a bit of a spanner in the works for Tenchi with regard to the Colossi that he's getting out. But to be honest, I'd hope that he's able to defend them. He just needs to make sure he's got enough Archons and Stalkers down to shoot back at the Vikings, and then just keep pulling the Colossi back every time they get engaged on like that. As long as he's using the Colossi to hit the bio anyway, it shouldn't be too bad. Now, we're going to see an engagement here. Now, I'm not really convinced that Tenchi wants to go in on this, as he is behind in many ways. And actually, the Vikings going straight over the top there. Just like the Colossi are going to be falling straight away without anything much in the way of trouble. Although the Vikings will be getting taken down. Is the second Colossi? Yep, there it goes, straight away. So with that down now, we've really only got the Archons here at the front to defend this army. And Tenchi's once again forced to pull back from this engagement. And to be honest, unless he can defend this base, I don't really see what he's going to be able to do in this game, because this is his last mining base here at this point. And while Castiel has had a lot of back and forward, making sure he can secure his own base, he is still ahead at this point. If he just keeps microing back and getting repaired by these medivacs, all this army of Tenchi's will be falling. So that's not quite so good there for Tenchi, really. Our hero of the day up in the top right hand corner of the map now. It's the evil Terran blueness. And so, okay, we've got another engagement coming on here for Tenchi. He's going to be going for it again. I don't think he's going to get too much out of this. It looks like he should be able to take down the medivacs, which will really cut out the staying power of this force. But I don't think it's quite enough to get around this many Marauders, unfortunately, especially when you've only got 3 Archons, a couple of Stelots, a couple of Stalkers, and 3 whole Zealots. It's really not that great a situation to be in, as this base is finishing up again. We're not really seeing... We've got a bit of mining in here again. We could do with some more workers in this base, really, to be honest. But it's all good. We've seen the last of this battle falling now as the reinforcements of Tenchi are able to arrive much quicker than Castiel's, who's basically sat building up a fresh force at the bottom front of the map now. So we've got quite a lot of ghosts out now for Castiel here as well. We should be seeing way more EMPs out this player, I'd hope, and that should be seeing the end of Tenchi's troops there now. So with that in mind, Castiel's moving across the map again. He's going to be pushing back this army that was chasing off those few Marauders. I don't think they'll actually be able to catch them, especially with the blink play there from Tenchi, but I think we will be seeing Castiel move in on this base once again. He needs to keep the pressure up on this base, because if he can take this base, he's going to win the game, because there's just nothing in the way of other mining going on here for Castiel, for Tenchi at this point. And even Castiel's down to a single base, really. I mean, both players are very slow on the economy at this point, and now with the personal cloaks as well here for Castiel, this is all troublesome here for Tenchi, as Castiel's army moves in once again, having Tenchi been forced to pull back away from the base as he ran away from the cloak ghosts, and that base did completely fall again. So unless we can see something really cool out of this Terran player here, it's going to be a real issue for Castiel to actually push through this. Because basically for Tenchi to push through this, because essentially we need, at this point, Tenchi needs to basically get his shit together and move out and win, because well, at this stage he's just got nothing left, and we're going to see a doom drop here now out of Castiel here. He's looking to end the game as soon as possible, because if this base of Castiel's falls, then, well, he's in just as bad a position as Tenchi, to be honest, and Tenchi is trying to get this base up again. I mean, he didn't lose that many probes, so it should be okay. But once again, Castiel is still ahead, and with this doom drop heading across the map now, looking pretty ominous here, it's going to be a real issue for Tenchi to deal with, since he doesn't really have anything much in the way of an army, to be honest. I mean, he's got this little force here at the front, and with some really cool... oh no, we saw a lot of that die there straight away. Nothing much coming out of Tenchi there now, as he's just engaging bit by bit by bit, and it looks like all these forces will be falling. As long as Castiel can keep microing backwards away from the Colossi, he should be absolutely fine in this engagement. And yeah, he just needs to keep moving away. And with the pickup going down now as well, we'll be seeing him moving out of that. And I think this Marauder might be... No, he's going to escape. Lucky guy, lucky guy. So yeah, with that going on, we're going to have another base coming down here for Castiel. I'm a little bit surprised that he's not trying to move this base out over here or anything like that, but he's going to try and construct another command centre instead. Fair enough, I say. Not really got a problem with that. I mean, all this is mined out, but well, whatever, go for it, mate. Meanwhile, we're seeing another base at the top, at the left there for Castiel as well. So he's looking to get 2 mining bases up and running, which will be, again, a better position than the one Tenchi's in, even if he can keep this base up and running. So with that going on, we're going to see the end of this long-distance mining at last, and we should be seeing the resumption of economies for both players now. So there's a little bit of respite in the middle of the map. There's not really been anything too hefty in the way of engagement in the last sort of minute or so, but I think we might be seeing something soon, as Tenchi is going to be moving straight out once again to Castiel's 4th base here on the left. And if we just have a look at both players' main bases, there's nothing really weird and fun coming out. It's mostly sort of the standard late games tech. We've got the Archons down, we've got the Colossi out. Not seeing any air out of Tenchi this game. I think we're just going to see death ball, death ball, death ball. So that's, yeah, very nice, very nice. So Castiel moving down the bottom again. He's coming to defend this base against this Zealot again. It's be nice for him, to be honest, if he could find this pylon and just clear that up, because he's got to be wondering where these single Zealots are coming in all the time. But well, to be honest, I don't think he's too worried, but it's more of a pain in the arse than anything, and it's just more stuff to deal with, man, you know, like, what a pain. So, anyway, so Tenchi's moving around the top of the middle of the map now. He looks like he'll be coming down for yet another engagement now. Let's have a look what you've got here, mate. You've got 9 Zealots, 2 Colossi, and 4 Archons, I think that is, yep, with a couple of Stalkers in amongst as well, and 5 High Templars. So, basically everything in this army does AoE in terms of the Archon, Colossi, and High Templar, so that's, you know, again, the perfect anti-bio composition, really, which Castiel is going to have to micro around, really, and essentially a lot of this at this point is going to come down to engagements, because both players are still pretty even. We've only got 1 full mining base each. I mean, yeah, it's a full mining base. Oh, but with the storms going down there for Tenchi, that was beautiful, beautiful play there, as that really does help him get through these units. And now we would quite like to see another storm, really. It's a shame we didn't have another High Templar there, as really that would have been really nice, because he could have just stormed away the rest of these, because, like, I mean, honestly, a couple of storms and all the SCVs are just going down, really. There wouldn't be anything much going on there, as Tenchi has actually managed to hold the middle of the map now, and Castiel hasn't managed to move back to this left hand side again, so we'll have to wait and see what happens here. We're getting a whole other bunch of Zealots coming in again here for Tenchi, as this mineral line once again has been harassed out of its own location, so that's not quite so good there for Castiel, but with Tenchi moving out now a little bit more, we should be seeing some sort of engagement before too long here. He's got to be getting sick of this, what's going on at the moment. Now, really, we need to make sure that the Colossi stay alive here. We get the huge storms down on top of the Bioforce. Half of it's instantly whittled away, although we have seen the Colossi fall to the Vikings now. And with these other 2 massive storms on top of Castiel there, this actually looks like we could have just seen the end of the game there for Tenchi, as yes, Toss, just don't die. With a huge GG as Castiel's army falls into the 20s, and we've basically seen the clearing up of the bio there for Tenchi. Now, that was a really back and forth game there. I was a big fan of the constant pushing at each other's 4th bases, and basically because each one of them only had a single mining base at any one time in the last few minutes of the game. I mean, that's sort of 10 minutes of the game or so there. It was they were really competing for that base, and it just so happened that Tenchi managed to get on top of it, push the army out, and then just keep the pressure up on these extra bases to make sure that our Terran players' army was forced to stick in this sort of area here, staying at home. Away from the harassment that he would have liked. I mean, we did see some great harassment out of our Terran player Castiel there. That was really good, but like, Tenchi weathered it. He got his stuff together and built the perfect anti-bio composition once again, as he went on to take the game. So yeah, it's been another episode of CasualCraft with me. You know, like, comment, subscribe. I've been RedRipz. It's been another pretty good game. Yeah, I've quite enjoyed it, and I'll be back tomorrow with another one. So thanks all. Cheers for watching, and GG to both players.